My name's James Kavouklis. I'm a junior and I play offensive line for the University of Michigan. There's like an overall theme of advice that I've been given throughout my life that has helped me get to where I am now. I had one coach in high school who he would always tell me, there's probably some kid out there who has less than you but is working harder than you right now to get to where you want to be. And that's just something I think about a lot whenever it comes to any activity I'm doing sports related wise, just in terms of like I got to work harder, got to push myself. And I think that's just something like a good mentality that it instills in people to have, not even just with sports, but once you get older and whatever your job is for after, it's just always know there's somebody working, so you got to work even harder. I think one thing that I focus on is making sure that I'm always mentally in the right space that I need to be in whenever I work out, whether it comes to practice, lifting, or even just like the mental aspect of games, like watching film. If you're not there 100% mentally, then it's just a wasted opportunity, and you only get so many opportunities to maximize your potential. So it's just about taking every rep seriously. Some challenges that I faced were just the mental aspect of how everything goes. I remember being a sophomore, and there was this freshman kid on the team, and he hadn't even played yet in a game, and we had a coach come and offer him to UCF, and this kid ended up being a big five-star recruit. The potential was there. He was a great kid. I love him, but I remember it being like I've been playing, I make plays, and this kid hasn't played yet. He's just a freshman, and that's just something that you got to overcome and try not to compare yourself to others. Just always know that I got to make sure I have the right mentality when it comes to the recruiting process and just making sure that I believed in myself and I trusted my abilities. So my recruiting process wasn't what the normal one was just because we had COVID going on and had to deal with that. I remember specifically with Michigan, even though I'm an offensive lineman here, I was originally recruited as a long snapper. And so I had one of the special teams coach, Coach Banta, he called me my junior year. He just talked to me, said he watched some of my film, he liked it, and throughout the whole summer of my junior year and then even my senior year, I remembered I would have to I would go out with my dad and I would take videos of me snapping the football, send them to him. He would coach me on it. He'd let me know what he thought, but I was just making sure I was staying active in the process, making sure he could see me. And interesting enough, like 3 days before signing day happened, I got a call from the current O-line coach right now, Coach Newsome. He's just like, hey, yeah, we've seen your film. We think you have the ability to play here. We want you to come on and do both. So that was kind of my recruiting process with Michigan. So on the field, I think the biggest things coaches are looking for is your leadership, your mentality, and just how hard of a worker you are. I know the coach I mentioned earlier who gave me the advice about there's always somebody working harder. He would come out to the games and just every game he'd come off and I mean every time on the sideline I'd come off and he would just tell me like, "Hey, are you giving it all? Are you doing everything you can?" And so he really helped me get aggressive in my gameplay to the point where I was like, from the start of the play till the end of the whistle, I'm gonna go hard. And just putting your best film on tape matters a lot because if no plays off really, because that also affects of putting your best film on tape. Because if a coach looks through the whole game, they see 5 plays you were jogging or you weren't going hard, but you have one good play. I think there's something that they're going to look at, and it's definitely going to build a negative opinion that they would have about you. Off the field, I think when it comes to recruiting, something important is just showing respect and that you care to coaches. First impressions mean everything. That's something everybody's heard throughout their life, and I believe that's true. So just always being ready to carry yourself with a high manner, you be respectful, look people in the eye, shake their hands. I think just all that stuff of being a good person overall matters a lot when it comes to the recruitment process. I chose Michigan because academics meant a lot to me. So when I was deciding, I was between Michigan, Cornell, and Rutgers. I kind of sat there and I was like, okay, well, if Cornell and Michigan have the best academics and Rutgers isn't, they're good, but it's not on the same level. And then Michigan and Rutgers have better football experience than Cornell would have been. I kind of said, well, Michigan has both of everything. And also, when I came here on a visit, it had a great feeling to it. I liked it. I liked what I saw, and so that's how I ended up choosing Michigan. Some of the things you pick up on just being at the college level that you don't think about in high school is plays can be won before the snap even happens. And that just comes with knowing defenses. Like in high school, I never recognized any defenses. I never really looked like at the bigger picture of things. I was only focused on the guy I was blocking. But getting here, that was something I had to learn. And so now once you have that knowledge, you can tell, guys are going to go in a certain direction before the play even happens. So if I know a guy's going to be going right, I know, I mean, that just makes my job easier. I think the biggest takeaway I take from being on the national championship team is just like the overall team chemistry. And one thing that sticks with me through high school is my coach had a saying that he always said, and it was to have a good team, you have to have coaches who care about coaches, coaches who care about players, players who care about coaches, and players who care about players. And once I got to Michigan, right away, I felt that energy. I felt that it was a good environment. People cared about everybody in the building. There was nobody left behind, and I just think having that overall team closeness and the chemistry makes a big difference because when you have guys that can look to their right and left and they trust a person there that's a brother to them, and I think that pushes people and makes them work harder, and that also helps get through adversities because a lot of programs you see if there's not good team chemistry when adversity hits they fall apart, but being able to kind of come together and stick together as a unit makes a big difference when it comes to winning, an overtime game against Alabama in the Rose Bowl. If I would tell my younger self any advice, I would just say to trust myself. You always got to believe in your abilities, and nobody's going to want anything better for yourself than you would. And so I would just want to always know that, like, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to find a way to make it work out and to not let any outside influences or distractions get to you.